At that moment, I just feel like all hell broke loose for me because I felt like I was gonna die, honestly. So I just shook the principal and I was like, somebody call an ambulance, somebody call the hospital, I'm gonna die. That's Hi guys, my name is Zoe Soleil. Welcome to my YouTube. If you are new here, please like and subscribe. It's honestly been a minute, actually like 2 years since I posted. Last time I posted was a story time on how I did not know I was pregnant. I got a lot of views from that. Well, I say a good amount from there, and a lot of people wanting follow-ups, which I will do a follow-up on motherhood and parenting, and also people just wanting to hear other stories because I do have a lot of stories. I've experienced things, and I won't say my life is crazy, but I definitely have a lot of stories to tell. So today, this story will be about the time that I had an edible and it went wrong. I feel like I could laugh about it today, but back then it was very, very traumatizing. So, of course, before I get into the story, I have to give a little backstory. So, let's get into it. Okay, first, I want to start off by saying that when I do these story times, I'm going to make sure to keep everybody's names confidential because I do know a lot of times you never know what place people are at mentally now, if it's still traumatizing to them or if people will get offended. So for the sake of this video and just for them and everything, I'm just going to give fake names. So this was my senior year in high school. I was taking a business course and I had a friend, let's name him Smokey. We gonna name him Smokey. So I had a friend named Smokey, and he sold, let's just say, brownies for the sake of YouTube. Brownies. He sold brownies. So it was pretty normal for him to go around and just sell them, and a lot of us will just buy them. I can't believe I'm telling this story. Okay, sorry guys. I had a brain fart because it's been a good minute. It's probably been like 5 or so years since this happened, so I'm still trying to put the sequence together so I can get it accurate. So I do know that I was in business class, and again, it was a normal occurrence for him to sell his products, his brownies. So one day he asked like, hey, do you guys want to purchase some brownies? And I was like, yeah, of course. So on this day, keep in mind, I did not have lunch. I did not have anything in my system. When it came to school, when it comes to Georgia, I'm pretty sure any other state or county, the school lunch is very nasty. So I did not really partake in eating lunch, which I think is one red flag on my end, was I didn't have anything in my system. So I bought the brownies from him, and during that lunch period, I decided to take it. I decided to eat it. Right, smart Zoe, smart. So I remember taking like a little bite because I already know about the whole like don't eat the whole thing, but I decided to take a bite. After like 5 or 10 minutes, I was trying to rush the process, obviously. I was like, I don't feel anything. So I decided to take another bite. And I was just like, okay, all right. So I was just chilling. The period goes on. It's probably like a hour and 30-minute course. Class. And time just goes by. By that time, I decided to take another bite. Probably halfway or a little bit more than halfway through the brownie, and it's time to switch to our other class, to our last period of the day. I think it was the last period. Sorry guys, my boyfriend was coming in. But yeah, so that course ended, so it was time to go to, I think it was the last period of the day, maybe. So I think for me, because I left school early, so that was my last course of the day. So I remember walking through the hallway and just feeling this zoom, like that's the best way to describe it, like this huge zoom feeling. And it's almost like a little bit of an outer body experience where I'm just like floating. I don't feel like I was right at that point till I feel like it's outer body, but I definitely felt like I felt the highness. Let's just say that. I felt the highness to where when I was walking, I just felt like I was floating. So when I get to that next period, I remember vividly that we were getting ready for a test. I think that we were having a test like the following day. So, you know, like a lot of times the day before a test, you may have like the study guides and stuff. So that teacher was going over the study guides, and I just remember everything she was saying was going in one ear and out the other. And on top of that, I feel like it really heightened my anxiety because she was one of those teachers where you could literally be minding your business, your hand is not up or anything, and she was still calling you. So I think that me not being able to truly comprehend and formulate whatever she was talking about, plus knowing that she was calling on each student, truly heightened my anxiety. So I'm sitting there freaking out. I start to notice that my heart is palpitating, and while I'm in there, I literally feel like the Get Out. I felt like I was in that movie Get Out. Like literally, I felt like I was in my body watching everything go on, but I don't have no control of what happened. And at that point, I just started freaking out. The first thing that I thought was, I need to call my dad. I call my dad for everything. I said, I need to call my dad. And even the simple task as like calling my dad felt so complicated. So I literally had to force the words out of my mouth to my teacher, like, I need to call my dad, I'm not feeling good. And I remember even getting up, the best way to just say is that it just felt like an outer body experience. So I remember as I'm getting up, my anxiety is just getting more heightened. Like my heart's palpitating down my chest. I remember I'm typing in my dad's number, and all I felt like is like, I thought that I was going to have a heart attack. Honestly, I felt like I was going to have a heart attack. So I said, forget even trying to put my dad's number. I said, forget trying to even put in my dad's number. Like, I need to go to the nurse's office. And if you know, well, a lot of times the nurse's office is like right near the nurse's office is right where the admin and everything would be at. So I just remember going right to that nurse, and who's the first person in the nurse office? The principal. At that moment, I just feel like all hell broke loose for me, because I felt like I was gonna die, honestly. So I just shook the principal and I was like, somebody call the ambulance, somebody call the hospital, I'm gonna die. That's what I kept saying. And then he's just like, what's going on? So me, I want to have a clear conscience, everything off my chest. So I'm like, it was what is that? It was Smokey. He gave me this brownie. It's in my purse. Please, I just think that I ate too. I think it was lace. Like, please, somebody call the ambulance. At that moment, they was just like, oh, like, she had too much THC. At that moment, I'm just like, please, somebody call the ambulance. I'm just literally just panicking. So then, at that moment, they took true advantage of that moment, and at that point, nobody even tried to call the ambulance. Just like, okay, this girl is high. So at that point, security guards started coming in, kind of taking advantage of that too, having me sign statements and stuff. And it was just really crazy, honestly. So they ended up calling my dad, and he ended up coming to pick me up, and they ended up rolling me out to his car. They took me to the hospital. Well, my dad took me to the hospital, and they were like, yeah, she has a lot of THC in her system. So that's nothing that sleep won't just help, and it'll just wear off. So my dad took me home. I slept. I don't even think I went to school the next day. Like, I was just totally out of it. And the best thing I could say too is, like, after that whole experience, for like days and weeks, I just felt kind of like disassociated. Like, everything felt like a dream. Like, I just felt so disconnected to reality. But when I was doing research, that's pretty normal when it comes to situations like that, in a form of like anxiety also, because again, I had a panic attack. And also, let me add too that I felt like even before that situation, I never had anxiety, never had a panic attack, but I do feel like that situation opened up a whole door to anxiety, because I literally felt and went into a trance in a mindset that I've never been to before, to where it's like it caused PTSD. It caused true PTSD. Like, I honestly had to go to therapy. I even got prescribed like different anxiety medicines because it really, really traumatized me. But when I did get back to school, it did kind of find out that they ended up expelling the guy, Will Smokey, who actually gave me the edible. And honestly, I felt really, really, I felt very, very bad because again, at that point I need to testify and get everything off my chest because I thought that I was finna. All right, so when he ended up leaving, you know how we have different school group chats and stuff. So in a group chat, he said, "I'ma miss you guys," and F Zoe, and it was a bit embarrassing. But I was like, all right, I deserve that. But I don't know how our expulsion metrics and how that whole system worked because when we graduated, he ended up being at graduation. So I mean, it all worked out. He went to college, and that was that. But after that, totally traumatized, totally caused PTSD. But I'm gonna wrap this up because my storage is going low. But again, that is my story about my worst edible experience, and I hope it teaches y'all to just be careful and don't take all of it at one time or you'll be like me. Okay, all right. So if you like this video, I hope that you like and subscribe, leave comments of your experiences, and I'll catch you in the next video.